And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It is in the top right position, our pink Dutch Protoss player, reigning champion of the Dutch StarCraft League and current round of 16 player in WCS Premier League. It is Harstem.
Yep, and spawning at the top left-hand position of Frost, it is going to go ahead and be for my insanity, JayPower.
Yeah, alright.
JayPower, of course, also known as the Afro Dog.
Of course, JayPower and Harstem must have played each other countless of times. Both being Dutch, of course, and I'm not sure if I ever saw JayPower go to DreamHack. Do you think JayPower ever went to DreamHack?
No, I don't think so. Like JayPower has been improving his play very much so, but I know it's a fact that last year during the first Dutch StarCraft League was his very first offline event. After that, he has picked it up. He's been having good results, playing very solidly online. Of course, my insanity picked him up, so they have confidence in this Dutch player as well. And I mean, he's really he's still at the start of his professional career, I would say, but he's shown real prospect. Like he can really become a good player, I feel.
Do you know how old JayPower is?
Yep, he's 20. Okay. He lives in Amsterdam, and he's been devoted to the StarCraft 2 scene since the very first beta, Wings of Liberty. So he's been playing for a while here.
All right, that's cool. So he's a bit older than Harstem, who is of course very young for someone to be doing that good. But you know, that is one thing in StarCraft. You often see very young people doing very good, like in chess actually.
Yeah, I mean, when you're very young, you usually have a lot more time. You don't have a full-time job yet, even though school is very exhausting. I'm pretty sure you'll have a lot of time during the vacations and stuff like that. Plus, you're really still like deciding what you want to do with life. And when you play StarCraft and you really like it, you're gonna have a main focus on that. And I think that's a little bit harder to do when you're older, except if you've been doing it for like your whole life. For example, Whiterah, for example, was already a very good player on StarCraft, so he transitions over into StarCraft 2, and he did pretty well, especially at the beginning. But usually you'll see the younger people just being a little bit better at video games, I would say.
Alright, so we see JayPower actually getting a great scout of Harstem's base, because see everything. He sent his probe the right way the very first attempt, so he got lucky there. Harstem, of course, he went all the way down. Can you explain to me why he sent his probe up to... That is because of the timing, right? So Harstem sent his probe all the way down to the right, but then instead of going to the position down left, he went all the way to the upper left position. Why is that? Did he know because of the timing of JayPower's probe that JayPower was in the top left?
Yeah, exactly that. He saw JayPower's probe go into his base around the same time that he scouted the wrong base. So he was like, yep, that's the usual timing for a probe scout, so I'm guessing you're next to me, and he was right to do that.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. He gets enough information right now. If he would have checked the other position first, the mothership core or the unit would have been out a little bit too fast.
Yep, you're right. So this is actually a crucial move by Harstem in the very early game. We see a pylon from JayPower going up all the way to the right of his base. Is that maybe to put up some tech structure that Harstem will be having a hard time to scout, or is that maybe to put up a tech structure that is closer to Harstem's base, or do you know why that is?
There's two reasons. One would be to hide a tech structure, like you said, but I don't think that's it, because the Twilight Council is already gone in an obvious spot. The other one is, when Harstem scouts him, he will only see two pylons, and the question for Harstem would be, where's the third one? It could be on the map, so that's a potential threat. But we do see a Dark Shrine, which is very surprising from Harstem here. We could see the same from Jay, but I feel like it's going to be Blink, because he actually chrono boosts the Twilight already. So that could spell a little bit of trouble here for Jay.
So he's chrono boosting his Twilight Council without upgrading anything. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Maybe he didn't have the cash when he chrono boosted it.
Alright, there's gonna be one crucial moment here though, because JayPower is moving the mothership core into Harstem, his base. If he spots the Dark Shrine with the mothership core, he's gonna be okay. If he doesn't,
he's gonna spot it. Here. Oh,
he spotted it.
But did he click it though? Did he click it? I'm not sure.
With the size of the bubble that he saw, plus the fact that he saw Twilight Council not researching anything, all alarm bells should be going off in JayPower's base, and he actually threw down a robotics facility instantly. So he scouted it for sure.
All right, cool. I love how you analyzed that little scout. Of course, yeah, like you said, I mean, the size of the bubble, it could also be a pylon, right? But with the Twilight Council, they're not researching, like you said. That's actually a good one. But good of JayPower to realize it, actually, and take steps. So he's making sure that he gets detection, so that if the Cloaked Dark Templar come up to his base, he can actually deal with them.
Yeah, of course, Harstem did a little bit of an unorthodox build, where he also made the robotics facility. So he's actually opting not to make any DTs as of now, because he knows it was scouted. He can start adding on Archons really early though, but I like the fact that he's just expanding, and his expansion is significantly earlier than Jay's. I think it's like around 40 seconds earlier, so that's a good time. If we check the units right now, you'll see that the probe count is quite even though, but I don't think by making the Dark Shrine he's that far behind. The only thing that could really start being a factor is the blink for JayPower.
Right, that might be true. Of course, yeah, he has some more Stalkers, JayPower does. A couple of more Stalkers. But then again, Harstem now has some Immortals out. The first one's already out, the second's coming up right now. And Blink's Stalkers are not that good against Immortals. Even with Blink, Stalkers have a hard time against Immortals.
Yeah, I mean, Jay, he opted to go for some Observers, but he never started adding on Immortals, I don't think. No, he doesn't have any, and he doesn't have any on a production tab either, so that actually means that he's just going for Stalkers with the Observers for now. He actually is sniping one of the Observers from Harstem, so that's a good move.
Yep.
Being a little bit aggressive with this, he's also expanding by himself, but he needs to start getting some form of tech out, because I don't think he's really going to do that much damage with the Stalkers.
No, oh, he's trying to get some sentries there. Did make one sentry use up a lot of his energy by throwing on the Guardian Shield, and the other one got his health plucked from him halfway. But yeah, like you said, there needs to be some follow-up, and we see some Immortals coming out now from JayPower, but
actually a blink inside of the base of Harstem here, but there is one Immortal. I feel like it's a little bit exposed there actually, because if he targets it with the 5 Stalkers, could maybe take it out. He is blinking them back to the low ground, so he's not gonna try it.
No, that was just a very, very little poke. And so far these players are moving up basically the same. Let's look at the income tab. We see that the income is also virtually the same for both players. But of course, Harstem did have his expansion up earlier, so he did mine more money from that, which he of course could have spent in more units.
Yeah, of course you don't have to. He did go for the Dark Shrine. He is actually having a little bit of skirmish here. He might lose that one Stalker. Nice micro from JayPower right there. And the units lost so far, I think that's a little bit in favor of JayPower as well. But like I said earlier on, he needs to start getting some tech. He is getting Immortals right now. He's got one out, he's got the second one coming out as well. He's playing it very safe. He even has a photon cannon in his mineral line.
He tried to get the sentry again, didn't manage to, but he did kind of something similar. Made the sentry use up a lot of his energy, which is of course basically the only useful thing that a sentry has is energy, because its damage output is not that high. And what do we see here in Harstem's main base? Sorry, JayPower's main base.
What do we see in JayPower's main base? Well, we see a lot of gateways being added on actually. It doesn't look like he wants to go for Colossus from the point of view here. He's getting a third robotics facility, and after that he wants to put on some aggression to oppose Harstem. And Harstem is actually also adding gateways, but he's also adding the Templar Archive. So I'm assuming he wants to get some Archons with it.
But he already has a Dark Shrine, so why would he? It wouldn't be for Archons, because he can already make them.
Well, the thing is that a Templar Archive, of course, the Templars cost more gas, but they cost less minerals, a lot less minerals. So if you want to spend your gas making Archons, you'll do it with High Templars instead of Dark Templars. So there's a little bit of a valuable option. I don't feel like Storm or anything would really make much sense in this position.
All right, let's see what Harstem can see in JayPower's base. There we go. Actually, basically everything. He saw the recent addition of all these gateways.
He actually cancelled a few.
Oh, he cancelled a few?
Yep, he cancelled 2 gateways and he placed a robotics facility.
Double robo.
So that's, yeah, he's switching it up because he knows that Harstem saw a lot of what he was doing. And he's, no, Robotics Bay, I mean. So he's gonna add Colossus to the mix, which is the good unit, but Harstem does have a lot of Immortals, though.
A lot of Immortals?
Yeah, he has 6 already on the field. I mean, he's adding Archons, like I said he would. He's actually making the High Templars, getting Archons, so he wants to push with a lot of Immortals and some Archons. He has to do that before JayPower gets like 2 or 3 Colossus out, because they can be devastating to a ground army, of course. But if he attacks before the 3rd Colossus comes out, I feel like it would be good. But he's also adding a 3rd base, so it's a very weird game so far, actually.
Yeah. Like you said, he doesn't appear to be wanting to attack real soon, but he's lacking any AoE right now, and he's also not working on getting AoE, like area of effect damage, because he's no Colossi, he's not working on Storm. So of course you got the Archons there, but it's not the massive AoE that a Colossus or Storm would do. Oh, whoa!
Whoa, that's actually a nice pickup.
That blink was the wrong direction.
Yeah, and I mean the Archons are pretty good at absorbing immortal shots. And they're decent against absorbing a few Colossus shots, and they can of course push through force fields. So they're really good in this position where he wants to cancel the third base from Jade. He's actually doing that. This Nexus is gone. He actually didn't cancel it, so he loses 400 minerals because of that. And if I check JayPower's army right now...
Oh, but there's a warping in the main of Harstem.
Oh, there we go. Yeah,
losing a lot of probes, but there's a Dark Templar there to defend. That's really clever.
Yeah, of course, there's no detection with that, so that's gonna hold him back. He's actually pushing his whole army back to defend against this. He might be taking a lot of damage on the Nexus, but he should survive.
Should survive, yeah. Took some damage. These Zealots are really tough, but in the end, no match for a very, very big cannon there in front of this Nexus. But I think it's surprising that Harstem pulled all the way back. And look at it, because of course, playing StarCraft, you don't really know how far up you are, but I think Harstem stood a good chance of actually maybe even outright killing JayPower there, who only had 1 or maybe even 0 Colossi at that point. Like you said, force fields were not going to be able to stop Harstem because of all his Archons. So, and looking at the supply difference too, I think Harstem could have taken the game there. So it's good on JayPower to draw Harstem all the way back by doing that little bit of a RAS.
Yeah, he only had 1 Colossus. He had a very much so immortal deficit. You can see that JayPower's army is shaping up nicely, and like I mentioned before, these Colossus can really start making a difference for JayPower, because Harstem has 0 right now, but the army supply is 50 indifferent almost, so that should be enough to counter these two Colossus. And the amount of immortals is just ridiculous. He's got the Persian army right there with 6. And a 7th on the way, so it looks like JayPower has to put that name to the test, and might see that right here.
Nice. You're on a roll today. Alright. Oh, we actually see Harstem got 4 probes on one gas at his third, and no probes on the other gas.
No probes on the other gas?
No.
Yeah, you're right. He's but you have to take in mind though that he's actually getting a lot more resources because of JayPower's third base being delayed so much. You can see it even more right now. The supply just keeps rocketing, and Harstem is gonna get maxed out pretty soon, but he's still not getting any Colossus. He's not getting Tempest either, so he's really going for this mid-game composition without getting the high-tech units. And JayPower looks to be moving in a good time warp from Harstem. Actually slows down a lot of these Archons, and he's pushing it back. He's losing a lot here. JayPower's not in a good position. I feel like nice illusion on the Colossus, and he is microing these Colossus pretty good, but he's not a good time warper, Frank. He's losing way too much, I feel.
That was tough, but the Colossi do survive. I think that hallucination was a great touch.
That was a really good touch. But,
but the Zealots just melting up at the front from Harstem.
Yeah, but Harstem has only lost Zealots so far, and the important units, they're still alive. There's so many Archons, there's so many Immortals. Look at this Persian army shooting through, and they really are immortal tonight, Frank.